Hello and welcome to Adding an Assessment in Blackboard Learn. You can add an assessment in any content area you want. For today I'm going to put it into course content, so I'll click on course content to enter that menu item. And tests are found under assessment, so if I mouse over assessment I have all these options. For today I'm going to click on test to create a test. Now if I had tests that were created but not yet deployed into a course, they would appear in this list here. But since I don't, I'm just going to create one from scratch, and I'll do that by clicking Create. This brings us to a screen where we can put in some information. I'm going to call my quiz 1. Here's a box where I could add an optional description if I wanted to, or instructions. I'm going to skip that for this exercise and just click Submit. And now we get to a screen where we can start adding questions. If you had questions in, say, something like Excel, you could upload them using this Upload Questions button. If you had questions already created or in a bank of questions, then you could reuse questions. Otherwise, if you don't have any already created, you can create question. And you see mousing over Create Question gives you a list of every kind of question Blackboard Learn has built in. So I'm going to build a multiple choice question for this exercise, but we encourage you to play around with the different question types. Question title is optional, but question text is a required field, so I'll put in the question text. Not the best question I could ask a student, but for this exercise this will work. Then I'll scroll down to answer. I want you to notice that by default the number of answers it gives us is 4. And that's actually the lowest we can go from the drop-down menu. That doesn't mean you can't have less than 4 options, though. You have these remove buttons to the right of an answer. So say I only wanted 3 possible choices for my students, I could just click remove on one of these, and you can see that it took away to where I only have now 3 options for questions. So now that I have these, I will go ahead and put my answers in. A, B, and C. At this point I could click in this box and put feedback that I wanted if my users got the answers correct. Here I could have feedback if they got the question incorrect. I'm going to forego the rest and click Submit. And now we can see that this question has been added. It's automatically put in as worth 10 points, but I can change that just by clicking on it and changing it to 5. I could also make it extra credit if I wanted to, and click Submit. And so we can see that the question text is choose one of these options, and I have A, B, and C as options, and A is marked as correct. If I ever needed to go back in and change which option was, if I ever needed to go back in and change which answer was correct, I could click this arrow and then Edit. Scroll back down and you can see there's a radio button next to each answer to indicate that it's correct. Let's say I wanted to change it to answer 2, I could do that. Also, when I was setting up the question originally, I could have selected answer 2 as correct. When I'm done, click Submit. And you can see now that answer B is updated to being correct. At this point you can add any questions you'd like, and when you're all done, click OK. Now we're back to the Create Test screen, and now, like I said before, if we have tests that aren't deployed anywhere, we see them in this list. So we see Quiz 1. I want to put that in the course, so I'll select that and click Submit. This will take us to a screen with test options. And it's already imported our name, but we could add a description here at this point, decide whether we wanted the test to open in a new window. Under test availability, by default, a test is not available. So make sure if you are done building it and it's what you want, you click yes so that your students are allowed to take the test. You can add an announcement if you want, enable multiple attempts, force completion, set a timer. If you do set a timer, we suggest putting on for auto submit. What that will do is if a student comes to the end of the time, it will auto submit any answers that they've already put in, so they won't lose their work. There's lots of other options as well that you can explore. When you are done, have all the options you want, you can click Submit. And if I scroll down, we see that Quiz 1 is now up, ready, and available to my students in my course. This has been Adding an Assessment in Blackboard Learn.